All right, all right. We're gonna pull up the Seven Thunder. Neb, you want to start with all affirmation first?
To Abdul Kuba Zone Taflata, Adana Ben Mabu, Hadis Aisha Yunakalu, Aduki Fian Aisha Shukalu, Wakula Shukaluni, Naata Kuna Fikalu, Aduki Ferragun Shukalu, Wakalu Kalu Ferragun Shuni, Aduki Wahid Kakalu, Wakalu Kalu Wahid Mani, Duk Aikilu, Aikilu, Kama Ferragun Shukalu, Wakub Kama Faidu, Duk Aikilu, Aquenu Kudi, Nuka Fivi Fikalu, Kama Tawu Kama Kafazi Kaluni, Amidi Fikalu, Aduki Kaba Hawa, Kalu Kalu Nuki. Kalu Yaku, Keki, Kalu Babu, Gabi, Kawun Team. Again, our prayers, thinkings, and deeds, through divine love in all. I am in the love of all, and all love is me. We are all in all. I am a part of all, and all is a part of me. I am one with all, and all is one with me. I could succeed as a part of all, and fail as an individual. I can be all I wish in all, as long as my wish is to stay in all. I am never alone. All is I am. All can I can. All does I do. Poor.
I don't think who. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna have Neb pull up the Seven Thunders so we can go through it. But Rod, it's up to you. Wherever you want to feel that is really important to this day and time to share with the family.
Yeah, we just gonna do open Q&A, whatever because that's if you ever noticed, Bobby used to always start back in New York. He used to open up with the Q&A.
Oh yeah.
The Q&A always establishes the question that's lingering in the collective that's present.
Let's go.
So in order to get to that question, we have to let people start asking questions and it'll steer the conversation.
Y'all hear that? Let's go with the questions. I know everybody got 1,001 questions, but when it comes time to ask it, you can get them, right? Hopefully you wrote them down. All right, you ready with the questions?
Yeah, my question does. Hey, welcome, brother Hayes, Mr. Chris. My brother, my question does pertain to the thunder, because I was talking with my brother earlier today about these seven thunders as mentioned. You know what I'm saying? The old man said that back in the day to us about these seven thunders at the end. Then he started calling himself Thunderbird, Black Eagle, right? Then I know thunder relates to Thor, to Hootie. Is there anything you can share with that as far as the seven thunders? Does that relate to Thunderbird, or is it thunder or lightning that he's mentioning with these seven thunders? And why did he even mention the word thunder?
Okay, so we know that the seven is significant as the seven Neteru. We know it's the seven African powers. We know that it's the seven chakras. So we're talking about the thunders. Go back to it, say, and there was a verse in the Bible about Enlil, and it said when he spoke, his voice was like the many thunders.
Yes. And also
it roared like many waters. Right, so it takes us back to Ryan Karinga's book, The Hosea. Right, we talking exercise the throat chakra, being able to speak with the authoritative utterance. This is what the thunder is. It's the speaking of the master that can reach the masses by talking the language that talks to their soul. And the feeling is the same feeling you get in church when they say you felt something tingling, you got the Holy Ghost. No, you got an activation of a code that sent you a message to your physiology that you picked up a key. And some of the people ain't ready to receive the key, so they flop around like a fish. I mean, they activated something that wasn't prepared to be activated. Therefore, they can't control it. It controls them. That's the whole Holy Ghost. It's the activation of that mitochondrial energy at the spur of the moment. And it causes them to go into their primordial mind state, speaking the primordial tongue. They call it speaking in tongues, but that's not what speaking in tongues is. What they do in the Baptist church comes from the old earth religions, what they call it voodoo now, Santeria, Ifa, right? All of these is the same thing, but different cultural twists give it a different name. And the seven thunders is the seven masters speaking, right? Which we gonna see them real soon, because we get to the point where they won't be able to hold the floodgates of this imminent change. It's gonna eventually rupture. And when it do, then you gonna see what the seven thunders mean when seven masters is up there telling y'all the story of what's been going on the land.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. That correlates with the fifth thunder right there. But this is happening right now. If y'all can read that, you see those thunders right there, fifth and the sixth thunder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they come in stages. There's one, the first one come, much starvation, sickness, starving, and children. Now, this is talking about the social conditions of a people. In order to have starvation, and you have to be lacking in food, and then that's going to make you be sick. And when children starving, the food is really deprived. So this is the conditions that we seen in the 80s in Ethiopia. The second thunder, the sky becomes sick with holes in it. It's just that the chemtrails that look like sores, lung disease spread. So now this is showing you in the sky that these chemicals they put up there, so it'll come up as clouds. And so this is the person that's speaking on the earth, caring for the earth. As you see, it's got from holes polluting water, growing, deforming these bacteria in the water. Sea animals begin to die. Fish are trying to get out of the water. Water becomes death to them, physical and spiritual illness, mutations in animals. It's just like the effects of aftermath of a nuclear holocaust. Then you got the third thunder. Many species, notations in animals, crossbreeding in species. We're seeing this today. Death of frogs, honeybees, turtles, deformed humans, multiply, genetic splicing and cloning. This is somebody that's talking about eugenics and the effects of eugenics and the chemicals in the food and the water to alter the genetics of the human is causing these side effects in other animals as well. And then the humans are crossbreeding tigers and lions and wolves with domestic dogs and all this stuff.
Yep.
So then you got the fourth thunder, sign of the twins, Jah and Wei. That's the balancing of the masculine and the feminine. One guards the South Pole, the other guards the North Pole. Habit begins when these pole structures break down. Religion, moral, and financial. The double wins, El Nino takes over. So the El Nino was the phenomenon of the Pacific precipitation that they attributed to global weather patterns in the 90s. But there's another part called El Nino that they don't talk about, which was also the secondary part of these forces. When you look up El Nino, it's a different anomaly in a different part of the world, but they work together. Right, so this is divine masculine, divine feminine coming in unity to balance our earth. But before you get balanced, you're going to create chaos, which is habit begins. Right. So the structure that's breaking down is the balance between the north and the south, or divine masculine, divine feminine. Right. Then it say the fifth thunder, the four great people will perish. Floods, lightning, storms, tornadoes, landslides, hurricanes. This is where we at now. Hail in the summer, forest fire. What was that?
That queen gone, ain't she? That one, that wicked witch.
Oh, Queen Elizabeth.
Yes.
Yeah. But children killing their parents, rampant insanity and murders, and upsurge in drug addiction and demonic revivals, parading themselves as righteous. El Nino, the little girl will come. Did I just say that?
Yeah.
Then you got the sixth thunder. Changes occur. The star people return. This is the return of Nebu. Signs in the skies, new planets, new galaxies, meteoric storms. Because you see new planets when you get to a different part in the galaxy from where you was thousands of years ago. the skies look slightly different. Presence of divine, disregard and respect for present, for world governments, leadership, politics, and finally the seventh thunder, the torch to shift to the new governments.
Actually, what we're going through right now, that sixth thunder, then the end of the world as you know it, that's a change of everything, 2030.
So you can lay 7 masters that took up each one of these over the last 100 years. And different people gonna see a different master in any one of these positions that's telling about these events, right? Because you had some that, like for instance, Father Divine, Sweet Daddy Grace was feeding the poor, right? So now we start there at the first thunder, right? Then you had what's his name? Carter G. Woodson was a chemist, and it was telling us about the processing of the foods and the effects. But he was mostly focused on the educational process. So the part of this, when he was talking, we didn't hear him. But you can lay down these tenets, and you will find that somebody had complained about all of these things. Martin and Malcolm both complained about the governments of the world. Elijah and Dr. York.
Absolutely.
I was looking at 2030. That 2030 is 2022 right now. That's darn near 7 years from now. You know?
But you're gonna see something before then. But you gotta remember, when you're talking about changing the global government, that shit don't happen in no 2 days. People want to see the results. They looking at the fallout, the rollout of this shit in real time. It's like the 48 Laws of Power say, speak the need for change, but don't change too much too fast. This is what's happening. We telling them about the change that's taking place, but we can't tell them about it faster than it's happening because they can't even see the change that's taking place in their face.
Do you think there'll come a time when they won't be able to deny the change in their face? When they see that
so
place?
I call that shock and awe. It's gonna come a point where you're gonna be like, what the fuck is going on for the people that don't know, that's not in them out here teaching and finding people that's teaching, the people that's just going about their day-to-day life, la 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 la, merely, life is just a dream. That shit. When the shit hit, they gonna be fucked up. They gonna be traumatized.
Right.
Because they not expecting that this stuff was going on, and it's been going on the whole time, and people like us been trying to tell them.
We always had this thought concept that when it really hit the fan and people see it, we'll be the first ones they try to call and blow up the phones with. Because it's like, he told me this all these years, you know?
You miss me? Miss me with that.
Yeah, well, they don't come because they look, when they look for clarification of what they're seeing, the mind gonna naturally take them to the only person that ever told them something similar to what they experienced. They're not gonna know where to go. So the confusion, the mind gonna send them to the people with the answers, the answers.
Let's go.
So that we can give aid as the aiders. There's a translation flip. You come to the answers to get the answers, and we come to your aid as the aiders.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I've been noticing like a lot of these people, like organizations, even the World Economic Forum, and different people been talking about 2030, what they got to get done before 2030. It's like a lot of people is like talking about that particular number, 2030, the year 2030. What do you think about that? Have you been hearing that as well?
I've been hearing a lot of stuff about the 2030. They got 2030, 2030. It's because we have, as the people responsible for the cleanup, we ain't got the luxury of the people that had the luxury to do the dirt, they had 6,000 years. When we take it back from them, we don't got no 100 years. We don't got 40 years. Once we initiate this action, we got at best 10 years. And this started in 2019, right? So since 2019 started and we've been on what's called the redemption process, we only got 10 years to bring in the age of Aquarius by cleaning up the old paradigms that didn't serve humanity. These old paradigms are represented by the energy that was once people on the earth. And we call them by their names, but now they not physically here. You can only read the energy signature that they left as a master. Mm-hmm. Right? So we can be mad at Enlil. Like me, I cuss that motherfucker out on a regular basis. Right? But the reality of it is his signature, his 6,000 year stamp was placed and he executed that shit, and we still suffering the effects of his thinking. So until we overthrow that thought paradigm, which is the monotheistic religion with democratic and socialist style governments that's really disguised military organization, right? So they come in, instead of organizing you according to family structure, they regiment everything. That's why they got all of our streets and squares now instead of concentric circles to the center. When we was running it, if you look at all of the old cities, they were all concentric circles to the center. Now they all square and line. Well, so we went from Fibonacci sequence to rudimentary geometry.
Mm-hmm. The spiral to the square, the circle to the square.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So now we had to go back to what was original. If we revert back to the oral traditions, that's what we was doing before they came. Telepathy and oral statements, what you say out in the open. And that's why Nebu Ali called oral statements and prophecies is nothing more than the hadith. Right? But they call oral statements for a reason, because every statement stands alone on its own merit. So you got to figure out what the fuck is he talking about. So he gave you something called your 101s to answer the oral statements and prophecies, but it's all veiled thinly in order for you to lift the veil quickly. But we didn't see what he was doing because we didn't remember our original languages, because they killed off the elders and miseducated the youth.
It's the same thing they're doing right now in this day and time, especially with the music. The music and the culture alone is making the next generation even more ignorant, even more lazy, even more self-righteous.
The thing about hip hop, it's a great polarizer. It can either bring you together or separate you. Hip hop is going to be one of the means by which the youth get to work with elders and still maintain their youthfulness. It's going to be the forefront of, you got the old school artists that's producers now working with new artists. So you got 50-year-old producers working with 18, 19-year-old artists, right? That's how we reestablishing the link between the elders and the youth. Because Dr. Dre not finna facilitate the same stuff that went on at Death Row in 93. It's retarded right now for him to repeat that. It's counterproductive. It won't get nothing done, accomplished, positive. So he had to deal with the youth from those who was talking about a different subject matter and coming with a different approach to the music and the art form.
I think it's a part of
one of the craftiest conjures we laid down.
Brother Hayes, I think it's a part of the frequency shift too. Like, you know, right now, we don't want to hear killing, shoot, bitch this, hoe this. I think most people are not on that frequency the way we were back in, let's just say, the 90s and the early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? I think their
Yeah,
frequency
because
has shifted.
now remember when they came with hip hop, this was right on the heels of what's known as the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement produced soldiers to fight in a war domestically. They knew that generation was going to be born to go to war. That's why they was waiting and had they plants all over our communities to turn us against each other. So they got us killing each other by friendly fire. But that war energy that came from the 60s has to give way to another energy. And now what we producing out of that war energy, the ones that's left are becoming the elders. And now you got leadership that think more like generals than politicians. This is the new wave of elders. The conjure of the hip hop go all the way back to the early 1900s with spirit knocking, rapping and tapping, right? Which sprang out of New Orleans conjure. And we always put it on the drum. We want to get the message through the community, we put it on the drum. What do that mean? Put the story to music and let the griots tell it around the fire at night. Now the fire is called the club.
That's heavy because one of the brothers of hip hop, KRS-One, said hip hop. He kind of shared the idea that hip means to inform somebody. You know, to hip somebody means to inform them. Like you hip to this, I'm hip to that, and then the hop was the movement behind making them inform. Like inform somebody. Now what's your next move? And I thought that was real clever to define hip hop. You know.
Well, go back to the founding fathers of hip hop. You got Grandmaster Cool C. You got Grandmaster Cool Herc. Grandmaster Melly Mel. What the fuck is these cats grandmasters of? And why ain't nobody asking them? Because they telling you they rank in the tribes. They priests. They just using music to do their priestly duties as a grandmaster.
Yeah, I remember Atum Ray said that the hip hop generation scared them because they came with that, like you said, that militant. And basically, I see from that, they don't want them to turn that into another type of energy that can help us. What you think?
They can't stop what we're doing with hip hop. That's the foundation for the new culture. It's already laid. You can't take hip hop out the community now.
Cool. The Supreme Grand Master Teacher also said that the hip hop community are the warriors, and they are not afraid, to pick up that 9mm and war against this beast neither. Cool.
You're exactly right, and that's why I say that the enemies put the black devils in our community. So it took our leaders away. So now that the leaders gone, the infiltrators will be like, man, if I was you, I'd shoot that nigga in his face. And that war energy, he like, hell yeah, boom. He just shot his brother and another soldier that's supposed to be fighting for the same cause. That's friendly fight, right? Mm-hmm. But he did it because he was compelled by one of them black devils who was trying to keep us separated anyway. They don't want GDs talking to vice lords. Right. They don't want New Nuwabians talking to Crips. They want us to have built-in animosity to each other based on our flag. We didn't come with flags. We had totem poles. They brought flags over here. So they brought that BS with them. And we fell for it because we ain't know no better. Because again, they killed off the elders and miseducated the youth. So the youth had to get it how they could get it. Right? But Big Mama gonna take care of them because we use the conflict as war training. So while they was practicing going to war, we was actually having live drills in the streets. They was going simulating warfare at basic training. We was ducking bullets in the hood. And then they tell us we wasn't in a war zone. But the guys that was in the trenches with us know we was in a war zone. the elders that was putting our brothers and sisters to rest from reckless drive-by shootings that killed everybody except the person he was going to get. They know he was in the war zone. So what do? You got to rally them troops. You got to get them warriors a common denominator so that they'll know who the real enemy is versus the perceived enemy. The perceived enemy is the enemy your enemy told you to go kill. The real enemy is the motherfucker that sent you to kill him. And you didn't even know it.
That's a backdrop too. I know we got a lot of family, a lot of friends. This is a lot of our people that serve. You know what I'm saying? And the master teacher broke down back in the day when they convinced you to go to the other side of the world and basically kill people that you don't know. They call it war. And he's breaking down that's a part of the disagreeable nature that they propagate. So I'm like, wow, you know, that's something.
Yeah, because from war, we all right. That's what war is. We all right. There ain't nobody clean in the war. When you go to war and the guy next to you is killing a person that's from the other side that's unarmed, you're not finna be trying to correct him. You might add some bullets to his gunfire, right? But we violating the codes of war. The Geneva Convention on civilians versus soldiers. But how we supposed to know? They all look alike to us. We in a foreign country with foreigners in front of us. We ain't got time to be trying to figure out if the Meridian Gray and the Zeta Reticular Gray, which one of them got 3 fingers and which got 5. We ain't got time to figure that out. We trying to count their fingers and they trying to eat us. Because you ain't gonna know which ones is the good ones unless you count their fingers, but you ain't got time. Because if you count the fingers and find out that he's the disagreeable, you just finna be dinner.
It's too late.
Too late.
But there's also the same thing with just sizing up people, especially our own people, because you know the master teacher broke down the Black Devil Scroll back in the day, right? And it kind of shook the community. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, let me read the book. And I read the book. I'm like, man, some of this is in all of us. Some of this might even be in me. How do I change this? But, you know, as we move forward, brother, it's like, it kind of seems like the more I get older, the more I recognize people that look like us participate in our destruction and they orchestrate. You know what I'm saying? So I'm starting to feel like maybe, you know what I'm saying, the Canaanites, that's a proxy for the people that's really controlling this thing that look like us. What are your feelings about that?
I tell people all the time, the most traumatic part of my journey and my discovery is when I found out that the white man is not pale skin. The white man ain't white. Them the motherfuckers controlling all of this shit. That's them niggas that was wearing the KKK robes they brought from Barcelona, Spain with them while they was leading the raid. Go back and look at the Emmett Till story. They didn't haphazardly put them niggas going to get Emmett Till in the movie. That's because they went and got him for real. Because they heard him whistling Dixie. He was practicing the battle cry. Then they put the white woman up to be the patsy. If it ever come back, everybody gonna blame her. Ain't nobody gonna ask no questions to them niggas that went to this baby house and snatched him out. Why y'all go get him for them people? Talking about they trying to protect the community. And look what they let them do to that baby. That's not protecting the community, that's sacrificing the community.
Hold on, bro. You saying that it was brothers that looked like us that went and got Emmett Till?
It was some niggas. It was some niggas. They went and got Emmett Till and turned him over to something called a white mob. Whatever the fuck that is. Some niggas went and got Emmett Till. I've been doing this shit since I first started studying the case because I was traumatized at what happened to Emmett Till when I seen him in the Jet magazine when I was 8 years old. And when I read the story, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I can't believe nobody that looked like us do that to him. Matter of fact, I don't know if I can share it. I got the video. I've been telling them this for the longest.
They came and got him and turned him over to the mob.
Yeah, some niggas. I'm definitely call them niggas. Goddamn black devils.
Yeah.
He was gonna grow up. He was gonna be Chief Littlehorn. They knew that. They knew if he get call that war crime, we know what it means. It's in our genetic memory so strong. If he perfect his whistle, it's over with. That's why they killed him. He got nothing to do with that lady. They be using them pale faces to do their dirt. They throw the pale face out front because that's what the whole dynamic of white supremacy is based on. Pale people taking the fall for what some niggas is doing to some people that's organic to the land. They ain't from here. That's them dirty Moors that they talk about. Noble Ali talked about them. Elijah Muhammad talked about them. Martin Luther King didn't call them dirty Moors, but he talked about them too. And he was a victim.
Cool. What was the war cry that you spoke of? What was it?
He was they called it whistling Dixie, but it's the war cry for the South to rise up. When they say South, they mean Florida. They mean Gullah War, Florida. That's what they mean when they say the South will rise. They talking about the Gullah Wars. That's us, the Iroquois Confederation, not no Confederate crackers.
So the Confederates relates to the Iroquois Confederate Nation. Wow.
Yeah, they gave us the pale Confederates to try to push the slave narrative. That's not what happened. On the plantation was Big Mama House, and they made them into POW camps. Them pink people that was in the house was the servants. That bootlicking ass nigga that Samuel L. Jackson played was the nigga that took over Big Mama House. And he was a blackamoor.
I noticed that in the movie, he took over when the slave master, Missouri Candy, you know what I'm saying, got killed. He was telling the other white overseers what to do.
Because they didn't know what to do unless master tell them. That's the part of history that's so nasty, man. I'm telling you, when I say I was traumatized and my feelings was hurting me, I don't even understand. I couldn't understand how somebody that looked like us could put us through this shit. And then I started thinking about the pale faces they used to put up in front of them.
Man, what?
Yeah.
Is this the right nigga?
And then you wonder why we can't fucking win.
Always a problem, brothers against brothers.
It's been that the whole time, but the problem was is they had us believing that we shall overcome. Whitey kill Whitey at the end. But all the time, them niggas was the ones behind the dirt. Them motherfucking Moorish Zionist Jew motherfuckers that Noble Ali infiltrated to find out about the protocols of Zion. That's how he knew what was going on. That's why he said, I can count the amount of Moors gonna make it on one hand and have fingers left. The most of them that he get, and because he said fingers with a plural. So I mean, the most that can make it and still have fingers left is 3 motherfuckers. What the fuck do he mean? He said even your own brothers sell you into slavery. Who the fuck he talking about? I'm just saying, are we looking? Are we listening? The Bible said we see you too, Black Devil. Why you putting Emmett Till in the back of the truck for the white? Trying to make it seem like it's them doing the dirt and it's you motherfuckers. We ain't that damn dumb no more. I'm just saying. What y'all see?
I see the same thing been happening over the years. All these wheatback, all these Uncle Tom niggas, that's always the one that's doing it. And now it's trickling down to people that you can't even recognize. It look like you walk like you around you in the hood, or even in your own organization, etc. So I see that happen. I'm not surprised that it's black people. It's always black people. That's how you get, because a white person will stick out like a sore thumb.
I'm gonna tell you the first red flag to me is they said the white man was the devil, the black man is God, and the white man running the world. That don't match.
Cool.
They crawled out they came into existence 8,400 years ago, 6,000 years ago, crawled out the caves to rule the gods for 6,000 years. Where's the math in that shit?
Cool. I see where we are confounded and spellbound over the issues, over the problems, where we speak a lot about over the years and more years, and as you said, go all the way back to whenever. And out of all of this conversation back and forth about what the problem is, we never just really discuss the resolutions. I think we need to take more time, more energy in resolving these problems amongst ourselves, between ourselves, and whatever goes against ourselves, and try to get more involved with what's going to happen tomorrow and leave yesterday alone, because now it's gone. We need to resolve ourselves from this point forward, because we only have a few more years left between now and 1930. And if we keep muddling over what happened yesterday, we'll never be able to resolve tomorrow.
Okay, but we don't have today's trauma yesterday. We got yesterday's trauma today.
Right.
We go back to the old trauma to find out why we dysfunctional in order to correct it. We ain't going back to relive that shit or to feel like nobody victim like they've been having us do for Black History Month.
You know, I listened to us talking about the young boys, and I remember Doc saying that those guys that we were talking about, those hip hop guys, they were the ones that stood up and said, we ain't taking no shorts.
Correct.
We ain't taking no shorts. And then we directed them, and everybody directed them to either Bloods or Crips, the Red House or the Blue House. And we keep getting caught up in that Republican and Democrat, Red House, Blue House, all the devil's tools. And we keep going back, and we try to use the same tools to fix things. That's what happened to the Nuwapians, the Red House, the Blue House, the White House. That shit became more important than the greenhouse. The greenhouse is where we're supposed to be living in. We need resolve. We don't need that history. We need to know our history, going back to Ghana, Nuwapi, Kushite, Ethiopians. We need that history. We can't keep living that trauma. We got to, at one point, because everybody knows that trauma now. Everybody knows that trauma.
It's a difference in living that trauma and healing from it. It's a difference in living that trauma and healing from it.
You know, when you heal, that means you're gonna put medication on it. That means that you're gonna do something to change it. You're not gonna relive the trauma. You're not gonna keep peeling back the Band-Aid. You're not gonna keep pulling back the scabs. You're actually gonna do something to heal it. You know, when you take an antibiotic, the antibiotic kills the poison. It's supposed to kill the poison. So we need to start taking that antibiotic and moving forward. Because again, this is where 23 we at. That's 7 more years to go. We can't keep pulling back the scab. We got to work on the problem.
I think that's the problem.
And the problem is mass infiltration across all lodges and across all tribes. We've been infiltrated.
Absolutely. I got a scenario right here across on my block where I live. Young boy across the street, he put a deck out on the front of his house. Nigga lived next door to me, worked for the water company. He called the motherfucking L&I on the board who put the deck and beautified his property. It was a beautiful deck. But now the L&I came out and told him, because this guy said that it was a trip hazard. And now he got to take the deck down because this nigga for the water department, which is an agent, all these guys that's work for the water department, the street department, all of them, while they doing their job, they snitching on everything that they see us doing. And that is the problem. We got to wait. We got to realize who the modern demons are, the modern black devils are. And we support these guys. We let them in our house. We support them. The water department, the gas department, so on and so forth, electrical department. They put niggas in there, but they won't give us a black cop. Because they know that these niggas that they sending in your house is gonna snitch on you. They're gonna see if you got the proper electricity and all the rest of that shit, instead of helping you. So again, I understand. I live in Philadelphia. I overstood move back in 1978. I was one of the sympathizers, one of the warriors who went up against some of that shit. I was there when shit happened on 52nd Street at the Ansarullah community, where we had to answer to some of that shit. I've been a warrior for a long time. And the thing is, again, we keep opening up scabs instead of healing the wounds.
Okay, this was the problem though. It wasn't us trying to open the scab to heal the wound. It's that we couldn't figure out why every time we started making progress, we fall back down harder than we was before. We couldn't figure that out. Right?
You ever see the movie with what's his name in it? And he kept trying to what's this boy Tom Cruise? And every time he went to go to war and he got killed, it would start all over again until he finally learned to stop making the same mistakes.
Right. Now you talking the language.
Yeah.
Of
So
if the first mistake that we kept making is we kept making it about skin color. That was our biggest mistake, because the ones that looked like us was the ones that betrayed Denmark-based Gabriel Parson, Nat Turner, the ones that betrayed betrayed Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. We was all betrayed by motherfuckers that looked like us, because we thinking we all fighting the same enemy, but we didn't know about the enemy within that had infiltrated us. So now we just got to tell the story for the truth purposes, and that's the only way you're gonna heal from it. Because we didn't get fed so many lies that if we don't know the truth, we can't come together because we don't know who to trust.
We can't be thinking about each other no more. We gotta think about the youth now. That's the problem. Niggas looking left, niggas looking right, niggas looking in the past, dead issues. Right now, the future is the young ones, the warriors that we talking about. One that's misguided, that's aiming in the wrong direction. That's why the problem is we're always reflecting. We're not looking forward at our children or the young, the youth, to be honest. And that, you know why people don't want to look over there? That's a real hard puzzle to crack. They came from us, but they learn from us. I don't have
no problem out of them. They understand me perfectly clear. It's these old motherfuckers that don't understand me.
Right.
The youth, they be like, what
they ain't trying to take time to understand either.
Huh?
They don't want to take time. It's like a big responsibility. It's like heavy load on their shoulder, just trying to understand. It's too much of a big of a problem. Niggas want to turn away from that particular problem. They don't want to take time to understand.
Baba.
They rather beat them. They want to beat them, act like them, dress like them. They want to do all of that shit, but they don't want to. You know what I mean? Steer their mind and their heart in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Baba gave us something I think that's very important, that we really try to understand the meaning of it. And he told us to mind our business and make our business good. And see, that's what happens with us. We never stay on track. We start off building a pyramid, and then all of a sudden, everybody wants to have a igloo or a fucking mansion or of their own. We never
a skyscraper.
We never stick to the program. We always trying to jump the gun. That's why he always said, y'all need to follow me. We always jumping ahead of him or lagging behind. And he told us again, and I'm gonna have to repeat it because it's important, to mind our business and make our business good. We can't keep picking at the scab. We got to let the scab heal. And as we do that, we got to keep moving forward.
Okay, the side effect of us tending to our own business and minding our business is that it influences the youth to prosper in the future. If we secure what's ours, right? Like right now, I'm just like sounding the alarm. Look, it's going down. The chiefs done reclaim the land, nigga. What y'all want to do? The youth understand it and they hear it clearer than you might possibly believe, because I'm getting direct contact with the youth. Some of them is teenagers talking about, Chief, what you need us to do? Mm-hmm. And I keep telling them the same one. Each one teach one. We all gonna reach some, because we have to know that it's a better way. But first we gotta all get to one page. We got to get on the same page in the book.
Yep.
See, they got your mama in Genesis, they got your uncle in Revelations, they got your cousin stuck in Job, and then they telling y'all to get on the same accord. If you ain't reading the same chapter and the same verse in the same book, you're reading a different part of the story, and it's not gonna fit. That's why Bible say I gotta straighten these stories out in y'all mind. Because only by straightening these stories out will y'all be able to see clearly what's going on.
You know what I learned about that? You know what I learned about that though? That all of those books have been explained. We had the transfer from the Old Testament to the New Testament and so on and so forth. And what I found out is that our story no longer resides in those old stories. Our story lies within the organic books of what we're right now. Each page is what? That's a page. And we move forward. It's in that breath of life that we have now. It's not, we can spoon feed our children dog food. They'll survive, but they might wind up acting like dogs. But we can take and give them the truth, and move forward with that truth of who they are. Yanuwabi, Ethiopian Cushites, and move forward from there, because everything from that beginning till now has been confusion. We got away from who we are, and that's what caused us to be what we are today, and that is the spell that we're under. And we can't keep spelling that shit out, book from book, page from page, from some old shit that never really cured anything. It was opening up more scab wounds, it was dividing, it was conquering. That's why it's so important that we have the holy tablets, so that we can look back enough to see the bullshit. We can move forward enough to see where we got to be. I said today, this morning when we woke up, I said, rise and make it shine. And that's what we got to do. We got to rise. It's not rise and shine. We got to rise and make it shine. What if it's no sunshine out there? What do I do? I look in my children's eye and I see the brightness. I see the sun. I don't look for the outside. I look within. And that's what we have to teach ourselves. Who am I? Man, I'm not angry with no one. Don't get me wrong. It's just a passionate thing, bro.
Cool.
Yeah, who?
Cool. I know. Cool. I don't. I guess there's some recalling or talking about the Emmett Till movie. I guess the recent one or something to that effect. And I guess I sort of kind of share the sentiment with brother for this. I guess simply because I guess at some point, when do you be like over? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm saying that wrong or coming across as insensitive, but it's like we studied so much history, if you will, from how they dog Nubian people out. But it's like, why is the emphasis so much on how we were dogged out? Why can't we find that story where we're victorious, where we're triumphant, where we're not? And I'm not talking about a fantasy fairy tale Wakanda forever either. I'm talking about actual events that occurred to where we were not at the end of the, we didn't get shitted on
at the end of the road.
You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like that's also a part of that that programming or that spell to keep people agitated and aggravated and upset and just straight up pissed off, and even make it about race, because even if you say it's not about race, it is about race, because you call them, those people, black devils. So at the end of the day, it's just about people who just do foul and messed up stuff in general. Who cares about what color they are? And we've learned the story as far as natures of beings, natures of species, and how they, manifest in, you know what I mean, on the physical. So it's like we should be at a point now where we can teach the youth that aspect of things and link it as to why things occur on such devastating levels. Like it's like we should be over that trauma, if you will. It's like, come on, like at what point are we over it?
May I add this, family? I'll add this. I'm feeling everything and the knowledge and everything, and even from over the years of just learning the information. I think the older we get with this information, what I'm realizing is it's about transmutation. When I learn about the history of Emmett Till, when I learn about Nat Turner, when I learn about betrayal, when I learn about what some of us did, like the Woman King, the tribes that were capturing us and trading us to Europeans to enslave us, even the dirty Moors, right? When I learn about that, yeah, it hurt, and then it make me angry, but then I choose to transmute that energy into something was like, let me get them back, let me do this. Let me take that anger, let me take that hurt, let me transmute that, let me transform that into an energy that I can use as productive for me. Because I think the more we link at that, the more we feel that, yeah, it's gonna stimulate us, it's gonna burn us up with a fire, but I think we gotta use that fire to cook and not kill. You follow what I'm saying?
So let's look at the problem that we face with. We at the bottom. That's the problem. Why we at the bottom? We strong enough to take it. How you know we strong enough to take it? Because we at the bottom. So when are we gonna? It's not the fact that us being strong enough to take it, we deserve to be there. It's just that because we strong enough to take it, we were able to use those things that keep us down and not give a fuck. I don't care. I'm gonna get up and go to work, feed my babies. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do, right? And it's just so happened that I'm doing it from the bottom instead of the top. As long as I can be some kind of way effective in my immediate life, I'm cool. Atmospheric nature of oppression is you will only be oppressed to the level that your strength allows you to. The most spiritually strong had to be at the bottom right now. Why? Because as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. So the ones who were able to take the most responsibility now, it's okay, that's enough. That's enough. So then how do you show that it's enough? This is what happened, and this is what the fuck we gonna do about it. So in real time, what do that look like? In July the 4th, 2019, contract is up. July the 6th, execute the blood right and the birthright to reclaim the land, restore the air, the land, and the water, and to return Big Mama shit back to her house. While the plan is in motion in real time, 3 years later, we've identified the kings of the land, the prisoners of war. We've identified the wicked and the righteous. But in the process of all of that, we waiting on Haiti to close the Haitian conjugal. Why do we need that done? Just the movement of the energy. So if you know what's been done, then you know what to do in order to fix the problem. Because we've been on the bottom in so long, when we get to a position to see from the top, we see clearer than anybody at the top ever could see. So now we come with the solutions to the problem, but part of the solution is understand that we're in a conjure war. This is why it was so important to discover the enemy within. Because this is why you was losing the conjure war. Now that you know that the conjure war consisted of them using some pale faces to put their foot on your neck and screaming in your ear, kill Whitey, while they acting like they laying next to you. Right? So now you can see the enemy clearly, and this is the moment of truth in the bullfight. Your red cloak will not conceal you from your motherfucking dirt. I see you, Black Devil, for who you is. Now that I see you, now that I know who you is, I'm gonna tell my people I done changed this shit. I done pull rank on the goddamn devil, and 6,000 years of reign of terror is over as soon as y'all stop supporting this goddamn system. They think I'm fucking crazy because I pull rank on the devil. But I got the blood and the right crown prince of heaven and earth to do that. So I did it. Now that it's underway, we just waiting on them to call the Sweetwater back. And when they call the Sweetwater back, that's when y'all gonna see these motherfucking ships. So if we wanna know what's been done and what's about to be done, we need to know what's being done. If we don't know that the continuity of government is changing all of this shit over in real time, we getting the keys to the kingdom. We dividing up the wealth among the nations of the earth, right? This is what's going on behind the scenes that y'all don't know nothing about. But it's being played out in the stage show. That's the falling of the dying system, and you're using the dying system to read the mirror on the time scale of the emerging one that's about to come from the underworld. All of this is happening in real time. The order has been given. So now, with the coronation, the crown prince of heaven and earth becomes the king of heaven and earth, and the queen of heaven and earth is the one crowns himself. So when the queen of heaven and earth return and say that my son's job well done, motherfuckers will know what's going on, and then it'll make sense again. How they use the stories of the truth and misled us by pointing us in the wrong direction, changing names, putting stuff in other places, like none of us wasn't gonna be able to unscramble the egg. They say it was impossible. I told Fairkind, if it's a possibility, I got a chance. Because they said it's almost impossible. They didn't say it was total. And the egg that we unscrambling is get the imposters out, right? Separate the yolk from the motherfucking algae. And now you know what's going on. It's a genetic warfare, it's a spiritual warfare, it's a chemical warfare. They putting all of these toxins, they terraforming the earth because they don't think that the earthborn is gonna raise one of us up that's gonna kick these motherfuckers in their balls and tell them, run my shit to my people. This is what's going on in real time. So we can anticipate something to happen. I'm making this shit happen. I don't give a fuck what a motherfucker did yesterday. Give him his check and his receipt. Send that motherfucker on his way paid in full. Good, bad, or indifferent. Everybody, all of the masters is here now to close every contract. They've all been closed except one. That's why you need to know the history. And that's why you need to read the dirt that you went through, the shit that was done to you. Because only by knowing your own culture will you see how it played out to keep you out of the positions of power. They can block the motherfucking throne all they want to, but they can't stop the king from ascending it. So we raise the matriarchy. Why? It's the natural order of the earth order. Put order back into earth. Bring back Ma'at, the perfect balance. A feather in a heart. And the feather is the one with the beak. That's the Birdman, Tahuti. Thoth. And he came and he got Sophia, Ein Sof, the divine wisdom of the mother. Looking with the eye of Osiris and the eye of Horus, seeing from the motherline and the fatherline what the air is supposed to look like. And the shit ain't right, so he fixed it. So Pop said, when a man sees something wrong, he ain't got time to be trying to negotiate nothing. He just go fix that shit. So now I'm trying to let everybody know that we went to fix that shit and it's fixed. Now you just got to be wise enough to distract from the old system till it come crumbling down. The banks don't got no money. The Federal Reserve can't print no money. The IRS is phantom collecting taxes off repetition. Them motherfuckers is following what they call a conditioned response scenario. They dealing with computers. The IRS ain't running shit no more. They closed. The Vatican is closed. The Buckingham Palace is closed. Them little dirty riding motherfuckers in Switzerland is closed. It's over with. So we restoring the earth back to the earthborn, back to the tribes of the earth. All over this motherfucker. That takes some time. And in the meanwhile, I gotta let everybody know what's going on as best I can and hope they understand.
We got 7 years left, Brother Hayes. And I know 2030 was also, when the master teacher broke down, that's when Nebu was making his last spin. You know what I'm saying? What are your thoughts on how that correlates with Nibiru, making his last spin, his last orbit? Because I read that when I was younger.
Yeah, so that's the exiting of the orbit. They're going to be aiding and assisting us between now and then. We have to be able to drive spaceship Earth without them motherfuckers at the end of 2030. Right now, they are all over this motherfucker, teaching motherfuckers shit in real time. They giving us technology that's been forbidden for the human species to have because the Anunnaki couldn't hold control over if we had it. But one of the Earthborn rose to prominence and took this motherfucker over in their face, behind their back in real time, and put that shit in the public domain. They here. And they work. They just steady, because you looking at the orbit of Nebu, the way that it's running, people seeing that motherfucker right now. They taking pictures of it in the sky. That's unmistakable. The pictures of Nebu is unmistakable because you can see the indentations in it like you're looking at the moon. But it's a star, like the sun. But it's a dwarf. They terraform the interior in order for it to be a planet ship. And they kept flipping the geological crust of the earth. And part of the thing was that this close of the age, Pisces going into Aquarius, they had to readjust the orbit where it only affect the energy grid and not the actual tectonic plates, because they was causing too much death over a period of time, in which they did that shit on purpose, because they was feeding off that energy. Everybody on Nebu don't like us, but everybody on Nebu ain't our enemies. Some of them see us as fools. Some of us see us as the future. So that's why we got 7 years. It takes 7 years for them to break free from their orbit. They'll be going back out of the range of Pluto then, deep space.
So, anybody else got any questions or anything y'all wanna shoot up in here? One of the things I realized, one of the things I know when it comes to my father, the last procession, the one that he did was in 2000. 2000 or 1999 to 2000 in that cut. And 30 years from there is the next time we need to be his next procession. So he need to be freed so he could be recrowned. There ain't no other leaders that's coming or anything like that, the ones. And that's a part of the formula to let him know that we wanted what he came to give, which is Nuwabu, which is the science. We have 2030 to manifest the science, the power of Nuwabu, and not change it as if we don't want what he come to give us, etc. So we do have 7 years. There goes that number 7 again. But we do have 7 years.
And I'm number 7. So I'm trying to tell y'all, look, this is the structure. Baba became the pharaoh through the mystic rites of the pyramid out of Egypt, where he was initiated. To bring the keys back here, he has to be initiated as a chief, a high chief. And while this is going on, it's not just him. Other chiefs are being crowned. All of them have to have a general consensus that nobody else can fix this shit. And then they call Tahuti. And they the ones that, because it's a joint effort of chiefs around the world. He took over 2 land masses at the same time when he became Chief Black Eagle. And he's also in the seat of what's called an Usirian, who holds the pharaonic seat by blood and by right of the earth. If these, with the organics of the other lands, feel that the difficulty of the chiefs to resolve the matter, then they have to call the grand architect. Hiram has to be raised. The veil must be lifted off the shrine of Isis so that the people can see the queen of heaven and earth reclaim her kingdom. At the close of the age, it has to be done. It's not negotiable. And this is why, from Operation Looking Glass to Nostradamus to Edgar Casey to the Blind Prophet of Russia, Mama Baga, all of these motherfuckers say when it get to 2019, what's happening after that is convergence. You can't stop it. What happened in 2019? The return of the great Thunderbird. I'm back to tell the story, cracking the motherfucking seventh thunder right fucking now. Those who are of the earth born, as Pop say, if it's in you, you will respond. If it's not in you, you will not. This is us getting our shit back. We're not negotiating with nobody. We're not going along to get along. We're not trying to figure nothing out. We already know what happened. We just trying to make sure that everybody get exactly what they earned, good, bad, or indifferent, and make it known that no longer shall the righteous suffer for the indignations of the wicked. The sacrifices will no longer be accepted because there is a new motherfucking sheriff in town, and we about to fix this shit once and for fucking all, and take this motherfucker back to paradise earth.
Okay. Brother Chris, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, with everything that you shared with us, family, from my comprehension and my perception, when I'm reading the tablets and when I'm going to them seven thunders, I always saw the end, based on what I was reading, as Pops being in that seat and somewhat orchestrating. You know what I'm saying? That's my perception of it.
Okay, look at it like this.
Based on them seven thunders,
Look, it's a card game. Every card that I'm playing, Baba is telling me who to get cards from in order to play. The whole deck is laid out in what's called a family united agreement. And it goes back to the early 1920s. Ain't no big eyes and no little U's. Baba will tell you that. We are supposed to try to aspire to develop to the same level that Pops did. We might not never get there, and we might have a different field of interest. But the wisdom that they instill in you becomes activated when they call it. Nothing that I'm doing would be possible without Malachi Z. York, period. It wouldn't be possible. And anybody else involved in what I'm doing from the past to the future wouldn't be functionally operative without the works of Malachi York.
Let's go.
Let's go. Yes. Yeah.
He became the funnel filter. He became the center of the hourglass, where all of the information of all of the masters before began to funnel through. That's a general issuing the commands to the troops on how to resolve the matter. You can't erase the works of Elijah Muhammad, because without him, we would never know that we was playing chess with some motherfuckers that look like us. Right? And we wouldn't know to decode some shit called Yakub's grafted devil to tell us who we was in opposition to. When you unravel the codes, we all become like fabrics on a cloth. You can't have one without the other. You can't have somebody put it all together if you don't have people giving them the pieces. They just didn't expect that it would be this nigga. Cause I ain't never looking for no spotlight or nothing. I just came to stand in the position to write and tell the truth. And the right is the birthright. Off the red and the blue. The gold and the silver key. And it's because they asked me to go get that shit, so I went and got it. Remember, he wrote a whole book to me. The Black Book. I'm following my fucking instructions. He told me what to do. We gotta remember that. It's a reason they tell us and teach us in the manner that they do. That's why he always pointed out frequency and vibrations. This is gonna allow you to see the enemy when you start applying it. Don't nobody gotta know you applying it but you though. But when the time comes and he say, hey, you the best student I got, I need you to go handle this. I'm the master student to the master teacher. I'm not the master teacher to the master teacher. This is what it is. They sent the soldier on a mission, and I'm gonna tear the motherfucking house down and build this bitch right.
That's
Don't
real.
work without. It's not possible.
Mm-hmm. I used to say that too, man. Like reading all this information, you start to realize that certain people in your circle, they have an expertise in certain levels of the information, the way the old man, the way Pops gave it to us, you know? Yeah, I know a brother that was real good at the Bible, one brother at the Quran, one brother at the Native American side, one brother at the extraterrestrial side, you know? It's like he gave us these jewels and we, you know, it was meant, he said, make Nawapu work for you. You know what I'm saying? Take what I'm teaching you and do something with it. So I understand it, man. I understand it. Cool.
Anybody right now can take something Baba did. If you find an old scroll from the 70s, you can actually ridiculous amount of money for it. When they was the editions. Ridiculous. What do that mean? It shows you the value, the increased value of his early work before he was even fully evolved himself. And they trying to spend ridiculous amounts of money to even catch up to where he was back then. That's value of substance. You have to be a creator to do that. That's God mode. What you did that you dispense with because you evolved beyond still holds massive value in the light of your persecution. That's a bad motherfucker. Cut it how you want to.
Cool. I want to say this, brother. We talked about the hip hop a few moments ago. I remember in 1996 when the master teacher signed us as the first rap group. You know, he said he did it because he wanted to reach out to the youth and connect with them, right? So he was embracing the hip hop community. He had all kind of hip hoppers down there with us, True Form Unknown, performing on stage. You know, I met James Ingram. I met Blue Magic from Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. I met Gravediggers affiliated with Wu-Tang Clan. You know, Busta Rhymes, Erykah Badu came to the land. Pasta News came to the land. You feel me? I was seeing that and witnessing how he was embracing the hip hop culture. What are some of the things you think we can do? You know what I'm saying? With especially like how we moving in the House of Who and other people who have their platforms. How do you think we can touch the youth? Because you mentioned that you was connected to the youth. What are some of the things that connected you with the youth, and what can other groups, you know what I'm saying, do to connect with the youth from your personal perspective?
The youth have very interests like we do. We got to remember when we was their age, the first thing is we forget that we was once their age, prone to their mistakes. Once you remember that part, you know the mistake that they would make, and you give them a preemptive notice. Look for this. This is the keys to avoid this pitfall. They learn to use the wisdom of the elders and then make them more inquisitive for more guidance, because now they're getting good at it. So they come and ask you stuff. And then they go apply it in their life. And when it works, they come back, won't know how to get to the next level. Right? So we building those bonds. Different people approach the children in a different way. Some of us gonna have to reach them through sports. It's a brother in Philadelphia that's a coach that's changed the life of hundreds of little young Philadelphia youth as a basketball coach. And when I was doing the research on this case, I realized that he was a Gullah chief. He's doing because all of the chiefs are required in the Americas, they required to do community service to serve the people. You can't be the royal family and don't do service to the people. And you're not doing it for wealth. You're doing it to show your gratitude for being allowed to service the people. And that's how you receive your blessings.
Cool. How can we get the youth that you're dealing with now into the House of Who, under the House of Who, so that we can see that intelligent and work that intelligence within the House of Who?
It depends on if you want to go four walls method or open air method, because you can reach them. They're using short bursts of information because they on fast food culture mentality. Right? So that's why TikTok is so big.
Yeah. That's how the House of Who is operating now. The House of Who, it's like that big tent goes straight up in the air and it goes all the way around the globe. So that's how we operate now as the House of Who.
Yeah. So there's different ways you can create environments that make them want to gravitate there. Like when the doulas get set up with the doula center, they have an art center for teenagers and errant youth to come and learn how to get their life together. Because most of the time, the errant youth, they just want to know how to get their life in order. So if you create an artistic environment with a jazz feel to it, and they've never experienced that, when they get to put their hands in the soil to till for the first time, a garden in their greenhouse, those things leave impactful impressions. And that's the waking up the primal tribes of our people. So we try to get them into express themselves artistically, but also to educate themselves intellectually so that they can be balanced. They respond to where they see the results emerging from.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
As far as like building with the young audience, it depends. I guess, like, you know what I mean, like building with them, the younger girls are gonna think younger than like girls think different from guys, you know, and these are young individuals. So it's just like, you know, it would have to, you know, to really get them to learn, you know what I mean? Like it depends. I feel like a woman will have to go try to teach the younger girls, and a man will have to try to teach the younger men. If you want to get everybody, like, yeah, that's
how the rites of passage is set up. The rites of passages is set up where
because like learning right now, like I just feel like right now, you know, like guys like they love to, like, I mean, a lot of stuff like that we talk about, people like are interested in. So it's not like there isn't an interest. They just get it in small little bursts, like off the TikTok, like you said. So they don't never really dive in like fully into the subject. You know what I mean? It's always just a little. You know what I mean? They attention spans are shot, and that's on purpose. That's why it's so hard to teach these younger people like myself. Their attention spans are shot. They can't look at anything longer than a minute before they lose interest. You know what I mean? Or they think they looked at it and they just know it all. You know what I mean? For some reason. You know what I mean? And that's on purpose. You know what I mean? It's hard to teach them because they making it hard to teach on purpose. You know what I mean? That's why it's like difficult. So like, you know, the question is how, like,
listen, I can do it. Listen, I can do it generation. This is where we at. The babies are saying I can do it, and they don't want to listen to nobody. But they don't know what they're trying to do. So you have to, your life script have to match theirs in order to find it.
What they trying to do right now is like a man is trying to figure out how to become a man, and a woman is trying to figure out how to become. That's the first step. You know what I mean? It's hard. We have to like kind of teach them like the build up foundation of like what it is to like even be a man, and what it is to even be a woman, before they start learning like other things, or even they have to accept, like, I know that sounds weird, but they have to even accept that little small. They have to understand like that part of themselves. They have to even, because they messed up you know what I mean, for real, like they messed up that part. So they have to like understand like that part of themselves, as far as in, you know, and once they understand that part of themselves, you know what I mean, like they can start to want to like learn more about their culture. You know what I mean? Because like first it's like, I gotta teach you what it is like to be a man, and then after that I gotta have you understand your culture. And then after, you know what I mean, and it's like building steps to it, you know what I mean. But like I was trying to figure out like how to keep their like attention span.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I just turned 22. Like I turned 22 on the 15th of this month. So like I turned 22 like a week ago.
And I listened to your whole ideology of what you just said. And that's what's missing from the young generation. It's teachers like you for them. This is how we attract them, by having people that's on their level, at their old age group. to come in and teach them, whether it's male or female. This is what we have to do. We can't, I can teach you, but I may not be able to teach them. You can learn all that you need to learn to give them everything that they need, because again, you're right after that group that was not taking shorts. So you have to take on that reign. We have to start learning how to pass that reign down to y'all guys. See, that's what happened with us. A lot of the elders went astray. A lot of the elders fell asleep.
Who are Brother Hayes? Yeah, I definitely know that you connected with the youth, man. You be speaking on things that resonate with them. I love it.
Yeah.
I respect it. You know what I'm saying? All those platforms, I see what you're doing, man, and I respect what you're doing, because you trying to get it out there. You feel me? So it's like, I see it, brother. I see it. So,
yeah. So the thing is one of the big things about the youth is you have to listen to them, because you got different. They're coming from different backgrounds of brainwashing that they didn't accept. So when you have to answer the questions, that's the medicine for the brainwash they're breaking from. In Revelations, they called it the eye salve, so that they could see. So the big thing is listen to them, and we need to get these doula centers back, because that's where the priestesses, mothers of the community converge. They would have their women gatherings there for them to do women shit, and they would take in the errant girls. This is why we didn't have rampant teenage pregnancy, because those errant girls had sisters that they could run to that was elders that could teach them the rules of life to help them establish their life cutout first. You build your best life before you start just haphazardly living. Because if you live haphazard, life gonna throw haphazard obstacles in your way that's gonna F you up every time. It's designed that way. So if you plan your life out, that means you're applying your will to the outcome to recover your best life. You're looking at your fields of interest in order to find out the thing that you would be most willing to contribute to the community to live your best life. Would be able to give of yourself that which makes you feel the greatest forgiven. That's why we talk about balancing the heart and the mind. Because you can know a lot of shit, but if you don't do nothing to benefit other than yourself with it, then what's the use of having it? But you have to be selfish enough to acquire it first in order to be able to utilize it correctly. Once you can utilize it, then you can spread that shit like a disease. This is the keys to success.
Cool.
Cool.
But I feel like it's another thing is options. If we show them the amount of options that they got, because I guess they got limited thinking. That's not their fault, but so that limited thinking kind of it limits their options, and they don't see themselves leaving the streets, or they don't see themselves leaving the the adoption home. It's people they don't see an out for themselves, so they kind of try to work what they work with, and the younger generation do that bad. So if we show discuss with them options that can really change their change their view of direction, make them feel like they can really do anything, if they just know the how, so many people want to get out, if you want to buy if you want to get out, because I'll talk to a person and they'll tell me how they want their life to change, but they don't really have a plan, because they just don't. And so I'll try to build on them, what's your skill set? You ever thought about trying to own a car so you can rent it out? You ever, you ever thought about like if you have a problem, right? So if I'm talking to a younger person, right, and he on medication because he got a health problem, you know what I mean, that's bothering him. You ever thought about making your own medication instead of spending half your check for the medication? You know what I mean? Whether they decide to take that information or not, that's on them. But just telling them that option of okay, you know what I mean, you can buy this herb. You see what I'm saying? And this is going to help with your inflammation problem that you got versus spending this medication every week. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And they might actually...
you offer solutions to their ambitions. This is how we do, and we develop who we are by how we aid and assist others, right? So you listen to their story, and then you try to show them that it's attainable by giving them something that they can find within their reach to do that'll further the agenda that they already own. When you turn your psychic abilities up, then you'll be able to read their book of life and help them correct from where they at to get their best life scenario, because that's the chapter of the book that's the eternal chapter.
I was just listening to Pop today. I showed my dad a video earlier. I mean, he was talking about and he said we gotta build our own kingdom, we gotta teach our own children, and we gotta feed our own wives. And this, I heard him. He said this earlier in a video that I was watching when he was teaching. And you know what I mean, and that kind of and that's really what people want. That's what that's what really you know what I mean, people want to do. They just, you know what I mean, I was talking, right? I was walking. I was going to lunch. And then when I was going to lunch, it was this grease monkey. You know what I mean? And this dude, I never thought he would be the type of dude that would be into the type of things that I was into. You see what I'm saying? But then once we talked about it, we really chopped it off, right? And that's what I'm saying. Some people not with it, you know what I mean? But there is youth out here that's with it. That's why, and that's why I had to really start to really learn that it's just some people that are that's not with it, but it's some people out here that are not going to be a waste of your time. That's why you got to try everybody. Some people are not going to be a waste of your time. Some people are with us. You know what I mean? Even though they don't look at it, look like it. There's some people out there that know a whole lot. They just decide to stay in the dark. You know what I mean? It's a whole lot of people like that. You know, it's a whole lot of people that know a buttload of what we're talking about. They just decide not to, to do it. So you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But when I talked to him, what I learned was we was on the same page as far as because we was talking about finances. You know, we was talking about finances. You know what I mean? In investing in the certain things. That's what me and him was talking about at the time. But we was talking about freedom, real freedom, actual freedom, not having to pay off a debt anymore or pay a bill anymore type freedom. And I was talking to another, you know what I mean? So we're really going to that age where we used to sick of paying bills. And we don't want to pay bills like our grandparents did, or like our parents did. Paying bills sucks. We see that. You know what I mean? We seen our parents struggle their whole lives with as far as paying bills and just paying the car note and having to settle with certain things. The youth don't want to do that. They just run the rap. They run the cheap out, trying to be a rapper or something, to get out of that. You know what I mean? But me and him was kind of discussing that was the option. Those are the options. See, they need to know that they have more options besides going to the NFL, going to the NBA, joining the military, or becoming a rapper. You see what I'm saying? They have very limited options on how they think they can, be successful. You know what I mean? And then that's on that term. As far as trying to get with the youth, spiritual, to get them to try to elevate their consciousness. That's just something that's gotta be built inside of it to me.
Yeah, so that shows the ambition of the youth. But like you was saying about what you heard Pop saying earlier about taking care of our own, that's part of taking responsibility for your community. And it's the duty of the chief to make sure that everybody in his family have equal access to a chamber of success for their own personal life. A success for my daughter might not be the same as success for my niece. But whatever their successful venture is, then that successful venture is facilitated by the chief. So give them the opportunity to live their best life. So when he's telling you that, he's telling you the structure for the reclaiming of the community and the restoring those communication lines with the different ambitions of the youth. What's the outlets? So in the Rites of Passage program, whatever the individual's interest is, he'll have a mentor that'll teach him that, and his interest is subject to change several times in his process of development until he find what he truly loves to do. So your spirit self came here to do a job, and whatever make your heart happy is the job you came to do. And that's how you let your light shine in the world. Because when other people see you and you telling them the formula is to follow the path to your best life and having to be on earth, and then they start trying to figure out what that means to them. You know, we have to take control of our community so we can have the resources to offer my niece and my daughter with two different interests to both have their best life scenario. Right, it's the same with the boys. My son and my nephew, different ambitions. One might want to be a prize fighter. The other one, he might want to be a race car driver. So what we do, the whole family, support all of them up. Shit, if they got, both of them got an event on the same day, we split the family in half. Half go there, half go here. You know, everybody gets the same support from the family.
Cool. So if Pop wanted to do it, what you think he would do?
He would still start with the structure of the family. He would go to probably the round table, which is the elders in the family sit around to determine what programs they're going to teach, and it's a social development. He would be more into that. See, we were seduced by religion, so in order to get us to think for ourselves, so that we can create our own best life scenario, we gotta first get broke out of somebody gonna bring it to you on a silver platter if you kiss his ass enough. So now we just gotta create those opportunities. When we take back the system, we go back to the matriarchal structures. The matriarchal structures then start organizing the community at the grassroots level. It's more important that we have a system where a 4-year-old that's on one side of the country with a valid complaint, that complaint can be heard on the other side of the country with the same amount of importance as if it was an elder. Reestablishing our networks. That's what he would be doing.
Cool. And Brother Hayes, what do you think is the greatest threat to the momentum of what we're trying to do? You know, the House of Who, man, we definitely working to get the master teacher free. We're going to reestablish everything, man. We're doing it, right?
You about to see Bob.
No doubt.
You about to see Bob. All of those ones doing the dirt under his household name, they got an answer for that shit when he get home. And I hope he don't ask me to have mercy for them motherfuckers, because I ain't got nothing for them.
That's true.
And it ain't personal. They ain't had no mercy when they told them lies, so I ain't gonna have no mercy when he clean that shit up. Whatever he need. You can't keep exploiting the righteous and don't think you ain't gonna have to pay for that shit. You know, use the name of the righteous to do your dirt. Motherfucker, you gonna get dragged from under the covers. They know who everybody is doing the dirt in their name. Believe me, it's not a secret.
Okay, so it's getting to like 10 o'clock. We about to close this out. If anybody got anything else they want to ask or discuss, and Tower Hat, thank you very much, brother Rod Hayes in the building.
Who?
Yeah, big up yourself, brother Ron.
I
Who are
appreciate
Brother Rod Hayes?
Peace and love.
Brother Rod Hayes, Saliym-EL. I appreciate you, bro. I've been following you for a while. I listened to you, and I want you to know that I appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Who? Brother Hayes, this is Sokar. Want to send a shout out, from Brother Ray, Connor and Timothy Coates, to you and also to Nebu. I just want to say that, as we are in the sun cycle, the last time the procession, Osiris procession was done was over 10,000 years ago. And right now we have, the toll, the testimonial affirmation of witness bearing ceremony, which is a continuation, of Nebu and his father's, footsteps. So we would like for those that haven't, participated to participate, for you can line up, with the elders and call on who, right now, as Nibiru is getting closer. Remember that many are called, but few are chosen. And the steps of good men are ordered by the Lord, and many are called, but few are chosen. We love you all, that are standing up and not afraid to speak with a powerful voice. Once again, Brother Rod Hayes, peace and blessings to you. Brother Nebu, peace and blessings to you and everybody that's in the house of who. Pa show to you. Who?
Kowloon Fiend, who?
Fiend, y'all.
Oh,
Thank you,
see.
Brother
Fiend.
up, dropping some bombs, thunderclapping. So, all right, I shook family.
Zawa had, brother. Hey, and everybody that showed up this shadow hour. Zawa.
All right.
We gonna close this out. Affirmation. Adu kuba zon tafla tat madana bet mahu adis aishu yinakalu. Aduki ken aishu shukalu wakula shukalu. Na atakula fikalu. Aduki feragun shukalu. Wa kalu kalu feragun shumi. Aduki wahid kakalu. Wa kalu kalu wahid mani. Nuk aikilu. Anjihu kana feragun shukalu wa hukama feidu. Nuk aikilu ahwenu kudik nukafiu fikalu. Kama tau kama kafadi kalumi ami fikalu. Aluki kaba hawa kalu kalu nanuki kalu yaku nukekilu kalu babu kami. Begin all prayers, deeds, and deeds with truth, divine love and all. I am in the love of all, and all love is me. We are all in all. I am a part of all, and all is a part of me. I am one with all, and all is one with me. I can succeed as a part of all and fail as an individual. I can be all I wish in all, as long as my wish is to stay in all. I am never alone. All is I am. All can I can. All does I do. Kowloon Fiend.
Fiend. Why do
Kowloon Fiend.